Another night falls on the old city of Jerusalem, but not everyone is thinking of the conflict within the ancient walls. Across town, a courageous group of Israeli and Palestinian comedians have a new message for the people caught up in decades of fighting.
I'm not just an Arab, I'm a Palestinian, but all that means is I don't look at you as an audience, I like to think of you all as potential hostages.
A piece of comedy history in the making. Ray Hanania is the first Palestinian comedian to share a stage with Israelis and perform to audiences from both sides of the Middle East conflict.
Any Arabs in the audience? All right, good security at the theater.
Hanania, a former PLO spokesman and activist who grew up in Chicago, says it's just the beginning. After so many years of violence, Hanania believes that laughing with the enemy is good for everyone.
Comedy and humor are very powerful ways of communicating. It can really cut through a lot of anger and stereotypes and make people listen.
Hey, Abdullah, how you doing?
Actually, I'm not Iranian, I'm not Pakistani, and I don't blow things up. I'm Arab, I pay people to do that.
By going on stage in front of an Israeli audience, what I'm trying to do is to show Israelis that Palestinians are not all terrorists.
As you can imagine, after September 11th, I don't travel much. I still go to the airport, though. Hang out there, scare the crap out of people. I don't do nothing, I just lean against the wall.
Ray Hanania was joined on stage by Aaron Freeman, a Jewish African-American comic from Chicago, and the Israeli comedians Charley Warady and Yisrael Campbell.
I met Charley online on the internet about 6, maybe 7 weeks ago when he was researching his old neighborhood in Chicago. He emailed me and he said, hey, I'm familiar with your writing, and wow, we both grew up in the same neighborhood. And by the way, I'm a stand-up comedian. And I said, great. Do you have the courage to go on stage with a Palestinian and do stand-up comedy? Because I've been trying to do it, and I haven't found an Israeli willing to do it. There was no hesitation. He said, absolutely. And, 4 or 5 weeks later, after that conversation, we've set up an entire tour.
Yisrael Campbell, one of the Israeli comedians on the tour, is an Orthodox Jew who on first sight might seem the last person to be welcoming jokes about the Israeli occupation.
Is it warm in here, or am I the only one dressed for Poland in the 1700s?
When I first saw Yisrael Campbell, the first thing came to my mind was, wow, this guy's very conservative politically, could be a settler. Can we really get on stage and do comedy and still disagree about politics? I think it's proven that we can.
I actually do a lot of Arab audiences, so it's kind of nice to have an audience like you that isn't handcuffed, hooded, and shackled. Remember, I was on the flight on LL. Really neat airplane. I had to get off, go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, somebody was in it, but it didn't say occupied. The disputed toiletry area.
Hello, מה קורה? מה חדש? מה המצב? מה העניינים?
In Israel, when somebody says, why, I wouldn't want my daughter to marry a black guy, they're not talking about me. In Israel, when somebody says, well, we had to move out because the neighborhood went black, they are not talking about me. That's what I love. I used to live in England. I loved England so much. I love Europe so much because in Europe, they hate you because you're an American way before they notice your skin color.
Sup?
Just for the record, these are not payas. This is the beginning of a comb-over. You tell me. With the keeper, you can hardly tell I'm losing a little hair up top.
By going on stage, it's a way of getting people to acknowledge that there is a way for us to get beyond these political things that we have no control over.
The first few times I drove up to a checkpoint, I just threw some change at him and zipped right through it. Until they shot at me. Yeah, then I'm thinking, oh my God, they want to kill me because I didn't have exact change.
Hundreds of people, Israelis and Palestinians, have packed this synagogue in West Jerusalem tonight for the final date of the Israeli-Palestinian Comedy Tour. It seems that Ray Hanania's theory that laughter can bring these communities together may just be right.
My name is Samir Sharif. I'm from East Jerusalem, the Arab side. I know my people. They will love it. They will love it much. They want to have a good life, a good time with shows like this.
Yeah, suicide bomber. What the hell is this all about? A 57-year-old woman. Yeah, that's just not fair. You know, that is just not fair. Sending an angry, middle-aged, menopausal, hormone-imbalanced woman to strap a bunch of explosives around her waist, sending her out and telling her to kill as many men as possible? That's just too easy. You know, and what did they promise her? You know, because, like, you know, for the guys, I guess they promised them, what, you know, like 72 virgins? They must have told her that she's going to have 72 kids that'll call every day and visit once in a while. I know my mom would blow herself up for that.
What's his name? Richard Reed, the shoe bomber. Remember, he was going to blow up the plane with the shoes? They promised him 72 virgins. Nah, I'm Arab. We read from right to left. It's one virgin. She's 72 years old. And we promise her to everybody, okay?
Whoa. Who let that guy in?
You remember three and a half years ago, the IDF killed a master Hamas bomb maker. Do you remember this? The guy had one arm and no legs. I'm going to say he wasn't a master bomb maker. I'm going to say he was a mildly proficient bomb maker at best. But my question is this: what if you show up for master bomb making class and the teacher only has one arm and no legs? Can you defer till next semester?
Judaism is fundamentally the world's most obsessive-compulsive book club. There's just the 5 books that the Jews read over and over and over again.
But they had what, a gay pride event, you know, and I don't know, you know, gay pride event. It seemed really ridiculous to me. I was watching the whole thing on TV, and to me it just looked like a bunch of girls dancing with a bunch of girls, a bunch of guys dancing with a bunch of guys, and it reminded me of an Orthodox wedding. In color.
Rabbi, Jumi.
You know that there was a poll recently, 85% of Israelis believe that the government is corrupt? That means that 15% of the people are completely out of touch with reality.
I am the only Palestinian in this tour because a lot of Palestinian comedians who do comedy in the United States don't like the idea of appearing on stage with Israelis. They'll appear with Jews, they'll appear with anybody else, but they won't appear with Israelis. To them, it's a taboo. Well, you come here to the Middle East, it's just the opposite. They love it. They want it. They're laughing.
The Arabs, we screwed up. I mean, we gave the country the wrong name. Seriously, when you think about it, Benstein, Feinstein, Einstein, Palestine. Okay, it's your country!
After taking Jerusalem by storm, the 4 comedians are planning their first show in North America at the end of May. Despite their best efforts, tensions between Israelis and Palestinians remain as strong as ever. A few jokes will not be enough to solve this conflict, but they may split a few sides. Matthew Kalman for JTN, Jerusalem.